I mean, it's the most powerful in the thing in the world is when you have every reason in the world to be angry,
Yeah.
but you don't find useful to be angry, and then you just find a way to let it go because it's no longer serving you. And I think that's a mindset that a lot of people struggle with. I mean, I have struggled with as well with it. It's like, because it sounds simpler than it is. You know, switching
Yeah,
the
for
flip.
sure.
Like, I'm not gonna be angry.
Yeah.
You could say the words a million times. Say the words. I'm not gonna be angry with this person because it's not worth it. But even when you
Hmm.
say it, you're angry. So, welcome everybody. This is the sixth ever Cyclo Talk, and we have a special guest today that's gonna talk to us how mentality affects our reality. We have here today Beau Semil, which unique story led Beau to become a mindset coach that is focused on goal reaching and is also focused on mindsets for well-being. And I think it's a unique story that's not only gonna explain why that happened, but also gonna help us understand what mindsets are and how we can use them on our favor to impact our reality. So, having said that, Beau, I would like to hear a little bit more about your story, where everything started and why it started and how you discovered, I mean, how you even discovered the word mindset. That's something that
Well,
I think is a unique story for everybody. So
yeah.
take it away.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. That's the
Thank
first
you
thing I
for
want to
being
say.
here.
Well, mindset is something I came across when I started listening to Rob Dial's podcasts, and when I started reading these books, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich,
Mm.
Master Your Mindset. Yeah, books like that. That's when I really got into mindset, self development, and stuff like that.
Mm. And at a very young age, may I say, like for most people, it takes time, or it's later in life when we discover mindsets. I know my story began, not so long ago. It's encouraging for so many people to understand that, realizing the life hacks, because this is what they are for me. These are like the life
Yeah,
hacks that we should
definitely.
have discovered. For me, we should have discovered them in school somehow.
Yeah, yeah,
Should be
yeah. I
something
agree
like
with you.
that.
Yeah.
And I love that you discovered them, and you know that was a great advantage. So um can you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to read these books? Did you had any mentors, or do you have, I mean, you have the digital mentor, which was in a sense Rob Dial,
Yeah.
uh but
Yes.
but yeah, any mentors or anybody that led you through this path, or it was more like a reaction to something? Yeah, there's a
Yeah. I
story there.
I think it was more of a reaction to something because I came into an argument, a conflict actually with my parents due to my
Hmm.
sexuality. Um, and my parents are religious, so it didn't quite
Mm,
fit in their beliefs.
yeah.
So yeah, a lot of stuff happened, and long story short, I got separated from my parents, and I live in a foster family now. I had to go to court twice just to be free, so to say, and just be me. And that's when I started to listen to these podcasts because I still am determined to add value to this world and be the best version of myself. And yeah, since my parents aren't there to guide me, I had to look for someone else who could fulfill that role, so to say.
Wow.
So yeah, I found that in books, in podcasts, um, yeah, in person, some aspects of people, because I see a lot of people. My girlfriend's parents, my girlfriend, my foster family, is a lot of adults around me, and I look at what they do and why they do it, and I take things that I really like to to add in my own life.
To take the best parts of everybody surrounding
Yeah,
you, and take your whole, I will call it inventory, to the next level, to your
yeah,
inventory of
yeah,
mindsets. And that is awesome. I mean, it's by the way, it's awesome that you're so open to talk about this, and that's something that I think is one of the main things that in this world needs, people being open to
Yeah.
talk about stuff.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, I love how you understood, I mean, in the sense you mentioned, not you didn't respect necessarily, but you said the phrase they that didn't fit with their religion. And that was
Yeah.
actually I don't know, I it was such a serenity on saying that I think it comes from the fact of understanding that you cannot change people sometimes, but you can
Yeah.
change the people around you. and
Yeah.
and that's one of the mindsets that are very interesting, and we actually, with another guest, we were speaking about the other day. So for me, there are a couple of list of mindsets. There are some for a career, there are some that are for relationships, some that for learning. What is your relationship with learning? So could you give me an example of what are the main mindsets that you think, I mean, do you have any favorites mindsets? Or do you have, actually, let's take this a take backwards. What would you define a mindset to be? That's something actually I think the audience will be interested, because I know what a mindset is, you know what a
Yeah.
mindset is, but um, people have an idea of what a mindset is, but
Yeah.
how to phrase it, how to phrase a mindset is this.
Well, if I gotta say it in my own words, I think a mindset is um, the way you react to things. So the way you handle it, just the way, yeah, how you react to things. But that's a compact,
Mm-hmm.
a small definition. I read the book, Jim Quick's book, Limitless, and he's got a great definition on mindset. I'm going to look it up because I made a post about it
Mm-hmm.
because I really liked it, so I wrote it down. Let me
And
let's
by the
see.
way, that's because of a mindset of not knowing exactly what a word means, actually looking it up, having that reaction.
Yeah,
That's a mindset, the reaction as well. Like
yeah,
always being, that's actually a thing that's helping a lot with um, gathering knowledge, like gathering a lot of knowledge. It's like whenever I don't know something,
yeah,
my reaction is to think, an emphasis to think, not to do, to think that I
yeah,
should look it up. Like
yeah,
it's not an impediment. It's not an obstacle. It's a detour.
yeah, yeah. I like that. It's nice. Yeah, yeah. Well, let me read to you the definition from Jim Quick. I found
Perfect.
it. Okay, he says the deeply held beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions we create about who we are, how the world works, what we're capable of and deserve, and what is possible.
Mm,
And I think that's very wide, but also a clear definition of mindset.
so it comes down to core beliefs, you think? So
Yeah,
in a sense?
yeah,
Mm, yeah, for me, it's more like, I think it changes the, I like it more like, well, maybe it makes sense because those core beliefs are uh, what makes you think the first thing you think. Now,
yeah.
here's the thing. Uh, Another way I love, and I want to see your take on this because I know you're gonna like it because
Okay,
it's from
okay.
our good old friend Rob Dial.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm not sure if it's from Rob Dial, but it's something Rob Dial says a lot, and he says a lot the words, "You cannot control the first thing you think,
yeah,
but you can always control the second
yeah,
thing you think."
yeah.
And I think that control,
Mm,
that's where mindsets come in. That's where a mindset can turn a bad thought into a good thought, and a good thought into positive action.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you, but I do think that on the way, if you're starting to train your mindset and start developing a better or a more positive mindset, that the core beliefs turn out to be more
Mm.
positive automatically. So won't be you won't need to rethink your first thought, so to say. So your first
Mm.
thought will turn out more positive if you train your mindset when you train your mindset.
Okay, so also comes down to having there is a prevention and there is a cure of a bad thought,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
you focus specifically in the prevention or the cure? What do you say?
I think the
You.
prevention.
Mhm.
I think but that's something I focus on with myself as well. And of course, sometimes I judge someone or I think bad things, and then I got to uh, correct myself because I'm still working on it. I'm yeah
Mhm.
still teaching myself, so to say. And yeah, but I sorry, I lost what I
So
slipped.
you were saying, I was asking like, yeah, well, actually you answered. I was asking like, do you feel, do you work more in the prevention? Do you work more in
Yeah.
the, on the reaction, in the sense, like the cure of a bad
Mm,
thought? Because I think mindset at the end is about that chain of thought. You think something, and then that that whatever you think, you end up doing something. Now there are two ways to solve that thought.
yeah.
First, not having that bad thought in the first place, not thinking something bad, by working on your core beliefs, as you were saying. And
Yeah.
second, even if you have a bad thought about something, like for instance, I drop something. I drop like
Mm,
I don't know, a book. I drop a book,
yeah.
a set of books, and the first bad thought will be, I'm gonna pick it up later, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna pick it up later, and you could always, you're still in a turning point where you can say, okay, no, the way I do one thing is the way
It's
that
the
I
way
do
I do it.
it.
Everything. Yeah.
And that's a mindset. That's a mindset right there.
Yeah.
You saying yourself that phrase, and you saying, okay, then I need to pick it up right now, because otherwise I know I'm
Yeah.
not gonna have discipline the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And that, for me, that process is what mindsets look like. But I also like the fact that you were saying that mindsets also can influence what the first thought is. I'm curious, in your story, in everything, there is
Yeah.
something that you used to think first that you no longer think first, like you actually think the complete opposite or something better.
Yeah. Well, I've when in I don't know if that's something we do in the Netherlands or is it just something we do as human beings or just something I do.
Mhm.
But I used to um, put people in boxes based on their intelligence or their education.
Mm,
But then I started reading and I started watching these videos and listening to these podcasts, and your education doesn't tell me anything about who you are. Nothing. It's just something. Yeah, okay. It says how fast you can process information. That's it.
mm,
That's all.
yeah. And I
So
mean, like,
yeah.
actually, for instance, that's actually a habit I practice, in the sense of, I don't put people in boxes. Like, as you say, like, you have to be careful of what putting
Mm,
people in boxes actually means. Like, people putting boxes is like, assuming something out of something as well, like putting them in a stereotype almost, like.
yeah.
But there is a way to turn this around. Like, for instance, when I meet someone, I do remember stuff like, I don't remember, oh, this person has this level for education, and because of that, this and this and this. But I do
Yeah.
remember this person went to this school. And if anytime later in life I need someone that by any chance went to that school, because I'm trying to connect with someone in that school, in that
Yeah.
sense, you have that fact. But here's the thing, you're not putting them into the box of something. You are
Yeah.
giving them different hashtags, in a sense,
Yeah.
different labels,
Yeah. Text. Yeah.
different
Yeah.
different labels to remember
Labels.
who
Yeah.
they are. And that's okay, as long as you're not assuming that one label leads to another thing. And that's where the problem comes in, because
Yeah. True.
people don't understand the words. I mean, people sometimes have a hard time distinguishing correlation that with causation. There is a
Yeah.
lot of scientific studies and a lot of news that are based on correlation. Like, I don't know, it could be as simple as 20% of the people that, I don't know, practice soccer also have,
Mhm.
a perfect GPA. It
Yeah.
doesn't. It's an example. You
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
I
it's
understand.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, but maybe you're not studying the fact that all the people you choose for this study, maybe
Mm-hmm.
they actually all have tutors and they all
Yeah.
spend these many hours. So there was a correlation there that actually the news should say all 100% of the people that have tutors have,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, better GPA, if it makes
Yeah.
sense. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
All right.
and this like by this process of demystifying, no,
Yeah.
actually going deeper into facts is what led maybe to this. I'm no longer gonna put people in boxes. Also because
Yeah.
I've been told that
Yeah.
that leads to stereotypes, and stereotypes are wrong. I mean, um, but yeah.
Definitely.
Other than that, it's also that it could also lead to a lot of misunderstanding. I want to. It's the same. A
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
misunderstanding. Like, yeah, I don't know. This person that you might have discarded because of the fact that doesn't didn't went to college. I don't know. There's some people that have a bias. This person didn't went to college. Might be the only person that can save your business, and
Yeah.
that's some,
True.
and that's
Yeah.
something. And that's something that if you didn't had that, very set mentality that
Mm-hmm.
people go well, the people that don't go, if you have a very set mentality that people need to go to college, you're
Yeah.
gonna limit yourself,
Yeah.
getting to know better
Yeah. I
people.
know. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. There are people who are actually limited indeed to people who are going to college or university, um, and because they don't know people, many people who don't, so their circle is limited to high educated people. That's all they see. There might be an exception to the rule or to their environment, but since that's all they see, they think that the world consists of high educated people, or that people who are not as high educated but also quite intelligent are stupid because they don't have a good reference.
All right, I think we're getting to something. And
Okay.
remember that I was telling you about I love lists. I think this is
Yeah.
becoming more about mindsets, mindsets to remove, and mindsets to start using,
Yeah.
and mindsets to keep using. I think that's something
Mm.
that people need to realize, that they can do these three things. You can remove any mindset. Well, you should be able. I mean, it's recommended that you
Yeah.
are open-minded enough to remove mindsets.
Yeah.
Actually, could you wait 1 second? And this is out of the recording. My dog is like
Okay.
barking a lot, and I don't want you
Yeah.
to hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, he was trapped on a tree. He was
Okay.
entangled because he have like this.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh
poor little
man.
thing. It's a puppy, three
Yeah.
months.
Oh, cute.
It's very.
Adorable.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this part's like actually I cut. So I'm gonna. Don't worry, I can edit all this so it seems flow.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying, like I think we are getting to basically to the fact that you have mindsets that you want to
Mm-hmm.
keep, mindsets that you want to start doing, and
Yeah.
mindsets that you want to remove.
Yeah.
Now, those are the three things that you might want to realize. And I would love to go deeper into how you, because you actually kind of mentioned it a little bit already, how you remove a mindset. And the question is asking yourself, which mindsets I have and why, where it came
Yeah.
from. Maybe it
Yeah.
came from because I don't know, you could literally have a mindset like, I don't know, the world, all like, it's the first example actually we have in there in psychology. I remember in one class, or a mindset where it could be all nurses are female, but there could be male
Yeah.
nurses. But maybe it's because
Yeah.
in your childhood you only saw female nurses.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, asking yourself where this came from. Maybe it came from us. Oh, maybe this came from a limited, not complete experience. That's one question to ask,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Indeed.
Now, you mentioned something interesting as well. That was the context. But what about what about the people you had access to? I don't know if it falls in the same category because it's not about having a limited experience. That's one way to have a
Yeah.
mindset removed, realizing that maybe it came from a limited, not complete knowledge on something. Now,
Yes.
maybe sometimes came from a relationship of ours, a parent, a grandparent, or something that actually maybe it's not something they carry because their
Yeah.
grandparent and their grandparent believe the same,
Yeah. Yeah.
and those sometimes are very dangerous because not
Yeah.
something that worked 200 years ago not necessarily works today.
True.
And yeah, I think I strongly believe is the reason why there is some people that is like very close-minded and very, they are actually stressing out with the many ways the world is changing because
Yeah.
maybe they carry mindsets that are like 200 years old or
Yeah.
300 years old.
Yeah. 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 That happens. I know people who got the same beliefs of, just like their grandparents, but they lived in a completely different time, completely different troubles, and yeah, completely different world.
Mhm.
Because there's so much change since our grandparents and us now. So many things have changed. Yeah, you can't compare it actually.
Mhm.
So you've got to update your mindset to this time and not your grandparents'
Yeah, and
time.
I mean maybe in that time people needed to be more, paranoid. Maybe
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
I don't know, especially if you are in a if your grandparents grew up in a third world country, maybe that today is a
Hmm.
little bit better. Well, in my case, Venezuela is not the case. It's not the best example, but there. I mean, it could be something like that. Like they grew up in a
Yeah,
country that at the moment maybe was at war, or at the
yeah,
moment there was something going on,
yeah,
and they
for
used
sure.
to be, more paying attention to every bad news or everything that was going on because the world was indeed less safe.
Yeah,
But maybe that's something that doesn't apply that much today. Or maybe you move from that country and you grew up in a different country than your grandparent. So maybe
hmm,
that mindset. And here's the second thing. There is
yeah,
there is generational. Now there is like
yeah,
context. Does this apply
yeah,
to the country where I live? I mean, or
yeah,
does it apply today? Maybe something that you told me last week that was, they all have like these little expiration dates. It could be something like, okay, this doesn't longer work. So yeah, ask yourself, does this mindset really, really applies for where I live?
yeah,
Like, for instance, um, in Venezuela,
hmm,
you need to be very, very, very careful of, going out at certain time at night
okay,
because there is a lot of insecurity. But maybe
mm,
in the US, there is not that worry. However, your parents could still be worried because they're trained to think like
yeah,
you are in Venezuela. I mean, their
yeah,
brain, in a sense, their mindset is there. So,
yeah,
is this mindset up to date? I think that's actually we're coming down to that question. Is this mindset
yeah,
up to date?
yeah.
Um, so yeah, are there any other questions that you think will be good for removing a mindset? What do you?
Well, the last question, is your mindset up to date? Because I don't think that just applies to where you live, but also like what we spoke about before, um, the generational mindset, if you want to call it that way. Because if you got the same mindset as your grandparents or your grand grandparents, it isn't up to date either. So it's not just linked to the place, but also to the time.
Yeah. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
that's something I would know.
Completely, completely. That's a perfect
Yeah,
explanation of how generational. No, no, that's it. That's it. So yeah, we have limited mindset that realizing if a mindset came from limited experience,
yeah,
realizing if the mindset is not up to date generation wise or up to
mm,
date, then
yeah,
it's up to date context wise. I mean, not about time. Maybe it's just about reality, space, where you are
yeah,
at. What is your reality? So,
yes,
there is not one size fits all for mindsets. Well, there are some, and those, or some that we believe are good for every occasion, but they might
yeah,
not be. And that's another thing. Universalism
mm-hmm.
doesn't exist as well with mindsets, I think. I mean,
No,
for sure, being grateful every night, that's something
yeah,
that
yeah,
I don't think we have discovered a situation where it's negative,
no,
but we need to be
no,
open about the
yeah,
fact that one day we may discover this mindset doesn't longer serve us.
yeah, yeah. I also think that empathy and being empathetic is really important to add to your mindset or to, yeah, add to characteristics you want to
Mm.
develop.
And that's I will say in the category of relationship mindsets. If you
Yeah,
want to have healthy relationships, you need to be more empathetic,
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
empathy,
definitely, definitely, yeah,
empathy. And actually, I think you need empathy in a way to be able to understand if a mindset that came from someone else doesn't longer serve you. Because
yeah,
you need to understand I mean, here's the thing. Like you could blindly, inherit a mindset from a parent and saying, okay, it came from this parent, but I don't
mm-hmm.
see why it doesn't fit my reality. You might not be able to see why it doesn't fit reality because maybe you're not able to put yourself in the shoes of your parent in their reality. Maybe
Yeah,
you need to go
yeah,
back and imagine yourself when in their situation when they were 10 years old. And as I
yes,
mentioned, maybe back then it was necessary to have them.
yeah, yeah. I experienced that myself because a lot of had happened between me and my parents, and um, I was I was angry at them. I'm gonna be honest because yeah,
Yeah,
they did
makes
some
sense.
stuff that's bad, and I did too. But yeah, so I was angry, but then I tried to look at things the way that they would do, and then my anger just there was no need for me to be angry. One, because it doesn't solve the problem, and two, because they have a whole different mindset, a whole different set of beliefs. So yeah, that's why I let go of my anger. The only one who is being holding back is me. My anger is holding myself back, and yeah, that's sad actually. Yeah, this isn't a good thing.
No, 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 and that's such a powerful emotional mindset. Like, you know, um, those phrases you're saying, like also understanding and I think more than being part of the list we're building is a mindset that I think is worth putting out there and putting in this conversation because now I'm not in a new list where it's you know good mindsets that we talk about and good
Yeah,
mindsets you should carry from this episode. And I think what you're saying is that the fact that sometimes, I mean, is the most powerful in the thing in the world is when you have every reason in the world to be angry,
yeah,
but you don't find useful to be angry. And then just find a way to let it go because it's no longer serving you. And I think that's a mindset that a lot of people, a lot of people struggle with. I mean, I have struggled with as well with it. It's like because it sounds simpler than it is.
definitely.
Switching
Yeah,
the
for
flip.
sure.
Like I'm not gonna be angry.
Yeah,
You could say the words a million times. Say the words. I'm not gonna be angry with this person because it's not worth it. But even when you
mm,
say it, you're angry.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
So yeah,
You
I actually
yeah, you can yeah, sorry. You can say something, but it doesn't mean that you believe it yourself.
mhm.
And that's why you keep holding on to your anger, because you're telling yourself not to be angry, but if you got you don't believe it and you got to be angry, you got a feeling, yeah, yeah, it won't resolve, it will stay there, the anger.
Yeah, no, completely. And you're just basically, as you say, sometimes even while saying it, you're just feeding it. So, so
Yeah.
maybe actually, and now that we're on that topic, a the other guest, I had another guest on last Cycle Talk, and
Hmm.
she was talking about very a strong story about how she was held at gunpoint when she was little, and since then
Yeah.
she had a post-traumatic disorder. That's something that actually changed her reality.
Yeah.
And she was mentioning something very powerful, and I want to think what you think, because I think that is something that, I mean, letting go is one of the biggest challenges in life, and I think this is something that needs to be highlighted. And you actually mentioned it. She talked about how when later in life she developed empathy, she was able to, in a way, not necessarily forgive, but
Hmm.
understand the situation of the people that were holding her
Okay.
at gunpoint. Like for her, she
That's
started
powerful.
writing reasons why she was
Okay.
probably held at gunpoint. And maybe was like, well, just thinking like maybe this person was, I don't know, they didn't have any money. They live, actually, her word says they didn't have any money. They live in a very corrupt country with a very corrupt government, and the only
Okay.
way to make money for them in their limited vision was, okay, let's just assault some people and get some money from the assaults. And even
Yeah.
though it doesn't, excuse them, because it's not
Mm.
right,
No,
it's a
not at
process
all.
humanizing of humanizing the enemy, in a sense. When you're angry, there is always an enemy in this anger,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the only way to, let go, and instead of keep suffering, uh, and basically you need to find a way to humanize and explain yourself why this happened, and more importantly realize it wasn't about you, it was about them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another thing she mentioned. She forgave herself, because in a sense, for a little moment she thought it was her fault. It wasn't her
Okay.
fault in a way. And I think everybody,
Well.
at least in a very small way, think that
Yeah.
it's also their fault what happened to them. When the situations are very painful, they blame
Yeah.
themselves somehow.
Yeah.
And she finally, through the process of humanizing the enemy, in a sense,
Mm.
she was able to, overcome the situation and forgive herself, and in a sense
Yes.
forget their enemy, forget the pain, not carry
That's really
anymore
strong.
that, that I'm a victim shirt, in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Powerful. Really powerful.
Yeah, no, it was like, for me, it was like, wow, wow.
Yeah.
uh
Same.
so yeah, I love it how you mentioned like understanding. Actually, I think here's the thing: habits, understanding the knowledge of mindsets. Now what you are saying, which is something new, I think, on this list, we were talking about how mindsets can help us and how we need to
Hmm.
remove some, we need to start some, and we need to keep some. But you
Yeah.
also now understand, you mentioned that how mindsets can how our knowledge of mindsets can help us to understand people, to have
Yeah.
more empathy,
Yeah.
to understand like maybe they
Yeah.
had this mindset because of this and this. And
Yeah.
instead of trying to change them, because sometimes it's hard, like, I don't know
Yeah.
how you, for instance, are gonna change someone that thinks that is something is religious wrong because it's wrong in the religion. Like, it's very hard because they've
It's
been
very
going
hard.
to church, you know years and years and years, and
Yeah.
they have been fed the idea that something is not part of the religion, right? And
Yeah.
that's something that maybe you cannot change, but you can, as a measure of change, understand and change that it's not about,
Yeah.
it's about them. And of course it's a very painful situation. Like, it's painful, nobody is gonna say that it's not painful, but and that's where the good phrase of our friend Rob Dial comes in. Like, suffering is when you keep, you choose to stay with the pain. Like,
Yeah.
nobody dies. I know that there's no way, every situation is different, and I don't want to put words in anybody's mouths. Like, I understand your situation is going to be painful in different ways. Like, nobody can feel
Yes.
that but you, because you're the only one that went through
Hmm.
that. But this is a phrase that stuck with me, and no matter how big the pain was for me, it helped me a lot. And it's, um, nobody dies from the snake bite, people die
Yeah.
from the poison.
From a friend. Yeah.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
you need to suck out that poison out of you, because
Yeah.
it's not, I mean, it's not harming the other person. I mean, and even harming the other person might not be the goal, but it's not harming the other person, it's only harming you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
For
yeah.
sure.
Well, I mean, unless it's a relationship you want to keep and you don't want to harm other person, also it's harming other
Mm.
person if you're, keeping the poison inside. Like in the case, I don't know,
Yeah.
if a brother does something bad to you, but you want to forgive them, but you're still with the poison inside, you keep distancing, and I mean
Yeah.
that also happens. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just get too excited with anything
No, it's
related with my.
yeah. I like it. I really like it. Yeah.
So, awesome, awesome. So now we mentioned, uh, now we have basically two big things. One, understanding mindsets can help you change your reality,
Mm.
and understanding mindsets can help you empathize with other realities. That on itself
Yeah.
bring a lot of cool stuff. Like, for instance, the possibility of moving on, um, from pain, from biggest pain, because
Yeah.
the better you are empathizing, the better you are humanizing the enemy, and the better you are humanizing the enemy. I put enemy. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. But yeah, the enemy, the faster you are, just moving on. Like,
Yeah.
it's not worth
Yeah. For
it for me
sure.
to think about this. So that's one side of mindsets. Mindsets to understand. Now, mindsets to change. We mentioned recognizing how to remove some mindsets. And I mean, realizing that you need to remove them probably is a pre-process when you realize you're harming people or you're closing yourself to opportunities because of this mindset. That's kind of like the wake up call. But after you
Yeah.
want to remove them, you need to think
Mm.
about, as I mentioned, this mindset came from a limited experience. This is
Yeah.
mindset came from a generational. Is this outdated? Is this from a generational
Hmm.
generation that doesn't longer fit the world today? Um,
Hmm.
and the third thing we mentioned is the one about context. Like, does it really fit my context? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, moving on. Uh, how to start to program yourself a new mindset? And I think that's something that people struggle a lot with. Like,
Yeah.
discipline, for
Um.
instance, is a great example of
Yeah.
the mindset of the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. That's actually the mindset
Hmm.
that it took for me. I mean, I'm still working on it, um,
Yeah.
but
Same. Me too.
for it's to, I mean, it stuck with me. I decided I want to keep this phrase in my mind, and I want to try to
Yeah.
do them. But uh, I want to hear your advice on how you start to develop this. Like, as you came down to a situation where someone tells you, like, okay, do you have any tricks or something for you to complete this?
I really think that journaling is the key, and especially asking yourself who you want to be, and then being really specific and writing down every characteristic you want, or you want to improve, or you want to, yeah, to get, just, yeah, to develop.
Mhm.
I think that's really important. Yeah, be really clear on who you want to be.
Hmm.
and what your goals are. I think that's really important.
Yeah, and it's a classic case of goal setting as well. Like, as you
Yeah,
said, that it came down to me, like the fact of um, the story of the archer, that maybe you have the best archer in the world, and then it's you that maybe you are not a good archer, but if the best archer in the world has a blindfold, you have a
yeah,
bigger chance to hit the target. You need to know where you're going, so you know what to
yeah,
ask for and
yeah,
what
for
to ask your
sure.
body. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, you could say, no, I want to be better. What the hell that means? Like, better on
yeah,
what?
yeah. But that's the same with fitness. People want to get fit or they want to lose weight, and they're just thinking, okay, I want to lose weight. Okay, how much weight do you want to lose? When are you going to the gym? Be specific, because when you say I want to lose weight, yeah, okay, it's not like your brain is going
Mhm.
to direct you to losing weight. You gotta be specific. What do you want to lose? 10 pounds, 100 pounds? Write it down. Make a plan.
Specific. Yep. And there
Yeah,
is the specific, measurable, and that's where we're coming down to the typical SMART goal technique, right? A specific,
yeah.
measurable, because specific because like um oh, I think it's the same thing, specific and measurable.
Well, well, no, I don't think so. Because when I think of specific, yeah, just writing down how much weight you want to lose, to stay with the fitness example. But measurable is,
20
um,
pounds. Like, no, I want to, a
yeah,
specific,
or
I think it comes down to, I want to lose a weight instead of I want to go to the gym. I think that's because it's a couple of phases. Like, instead of
yeah, yeah,
I want to work out. No, I want to lose weight. That's the point.
yeah,
Then the question is how much, and that's where measurable, as you say, come in. Like,
yeah,
okay, specifically 20 pounds in 20 days, whatever,
yeah,
by
yeah,
the end of this month. I want to go to, and that's where the plan comes. Like,
yeah.
how you gonna reach this, or how you want to do this. Actually, for my clients, because as I mentioned, part-time, I'm a life coach. Besides Cyplo,
Mhm.
I'm also a part-time life coach. I usually go
Yeah.
for, hey, do you wanna measure this by success, like by a metric, or by effort?
Mm.
Because you could also say,
Yeah.
instead of telling me, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds, you could also say, I want to go to the gym twice a day for 5 days for 1 month. Like,
Yeah.
or it could be as strong as, I want to read 30 minutes a day for 5 days on weekdays. And we
Yeah.
usually go for weekly. Like, we go for weekly goals. In my case, I focus on weekly goals. So it's like that. Like, okay, this week you're gonna do 5 pomodoros, one a day
Mm.
for 5 days of reading.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess, like, this same technique you can apply to realizing that starting a mindset should be part of a maybe an emotional or spiritual goal. It's a goal. It's
Hmm.
a thing. Like,
Yeah.
realizing, so as any good goal, there are a couple of techniques that you can use, and one of them, you mentioned you're very strong in journaling. Uh, I really
Yeah.
like to keep. I also like to keep this list where I'm having, like, habits or mindsets that I want to remove, uh, habits or
Awesome.
mindsets that I want to start, and habits
Yeah.
that I want to keep. So
Yeah.
I'm always moving, and also it's like,
Great.
actually, I divided it in two sections. Never mind. To remove and to start. And to remove has three stages. I started to remove them,
Hmm.
I finished removing them, and I still need to keep removing them. Like, I don't know if you have
Yeah.
a bad habit, like, for instance, I don't know, uh, you want to, well, for instance, let's say actually a good habit. Let's say that I actually wanted to start waking up earlier. And
Yeah.
I'm saying a habit because actually it's going to be the same for mindsets. Uh,
Hmm.
Actually, let's go for an example of a mindset. Uh, I wanted to start thinking more about, doing the stuff immediately. Like I wanted to, my first
Yeah.
thought was to do it immediately. Like the way
Yeah.
I'm teaching myself the words, hey, the way you do and things that do you everything. So it's, I
Yeah.
mentioned the example, if something falls down, I'm gonna pick it up immediately. So
Yeah.
it's something that I think that right now is
Hmm.
on the stage of maybe maintain. Maybe it's something that you actually started. Maybe you're doing it very
Yeah.
well. But here's the thing, you cannot forget that you need to maintain them. You can lose these mindsets.
Yeah.
You never learn them
Yeah.
from good unless they come from core beliefs. And some are harder to maintain, some are more natural to maintain. Some
Yeah.
even your
That's
body
true.
does the maintaining for you because it's something that you program your body to have some certain
Yeah.
limits or certain feelings at the moment. Like
Hmm.
right now, because I've been exercising, like I was exercising every day this month, the past month, and it
Awesome.
was
Yeah.
like,
Nice.
yeah, no, and it's awesome because you also see the physical. Um, I mean, it was little. It was like just running for 30 minutes. Even it was little.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Hmm.
wasn't asking myself too much because I didn't want to, go do weight training or stuff like that. I was just do a little bit of exercise. So now my body can. I actually kind of feel bad if I don't do it every day.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally, your body starts learning the
Hmm.
habits and the mindsets you want to maintain, and
Yeah.
and that's another thing. That's when you get to the stage of automatization of mindsets, and
Yeah.
that's when it's
Yeah.
actually
For sure.
really, 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 really a mindset, as you said,
Yeah.
because it's the first thing you think. It's not necessarily not on.
Yeah.
It's not on the stage of this is the second thing I think. No, this is the first thing I think when this happens.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
Nice. Great.
cool. So that's for the list of start. Now let's finish up with the list. Oh, for the maintain. Do you have any tricks to maintain a mindset?
To maintain a mindset. Mm, Personally, um, I write down what I have a list of things I want to do of my thing. Yeah, I set goals for myself. 3 small goals: be kind, give back, um, give a compliment. Things like that, just for one day. That helps me to maintain the positive mindset and the empathetic mindset and
Mm,
being grateful.
mm,
Uh, and something that works for me as well is tracking your habits or your mindsets. And I do it as the same way that YouTuber does it. Matt is his name. He says, okay, you want a new habit, you gotta do it for 21 days or 30 days. 21. He does 21 days, and you got to
mm,
do um, every day, and you can miss one, but not 2 days. You can miss one day, not doing sort of not journaling. So your goal is to
mm.
journal every day,
Like a
but
streak
you
on,
miss one day.
like this streak on Snapchat
Yeah,
where you lose it if it's
yeah,
48 hours, but it's 24
yeah,
hours. Okay, I like it. I like
yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah. So you can miss one day, but two is out.
Two is
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Nice, nice. I like it. Uh, I love that technique actually. Um, so that's awesome. And definitely that's where you finally um, there is a difference between a goal and a plan.
Yeah,
And the thing
yeah,
is like the goal is to have this mindset, but you need to have a everyday plan for that.
yeah.
So yeah, all right. So I know we're a little past the time, so I
It's
want
okay.
to break down this conversation, and I want you to tell me what you think. So far we talk about what mindsets are. Um,
Yeah.
as I was mentioning, we gave the example of is the first thing you think when situation X happens, or where
Mm.
situation, well, the set of situations of this kind happens. Like, for instance, was a situation of what do you think when you screw up and something falls down, or you have a messy room or something. What you think in the moment you think that you need to do something, that's an example. Like you want to, a mindset
Yeah.
will be thinking, let's do it now. A
Yeah.
mindset could also be thinking, I can do it later. And another mindset could be, this doesn't matter, this doesn't affect anyone. That's a
Mm.
third way to think the same situation. So
Yeah.
a mindset is that, is a, that's what a mindset is. Like the first thing you think when a situation happens, and
Mhm.
is there is the knowledge that sometimes they come
Yeah.
from core beliefs. But yeah, that's what a mindset is. Then we mentioned how, why a mindsets could be very useful. And one of the main things that came down is like, it definitely affects, like it's just very very strong in your relationship with yourself and your relationship
Yeah.
with other people. Like
Yeah.
it completely affects those relationships, because understanding mindsets
Okay.
can help you to have more empathy, which is a key to any relationship. uh,
Yeah.
and understanding those mindsets, it could be also lead to self-empathy, which is
Yeah.
the key for a healthy mind, right? A healthy
Yeah.
being. So
Healthy
helping,
self.
relationship with yourself,
Yeah.
relationship with situations, relationship with people.
Yeah.
That's where mindsets are very 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 powerful and very useful, and could
Yeah.
also improve. I mean, you could see that, I don't know, it could definitely lead to success. I mean, mindset is everything. It's basically what composes a people,
Yeah.
a person.
Yeah.
uh, so yeah,
For sure.
and to finalize, we talk about how you could remove a mindset, you could start a mindset, and you can maintain a mindset. And we
Yeah.
mentioned, to remove a mindset, realize the source, where it came from. Ask yourself, is this
Mhm.
a mindset that came from a limited experience? And I gave the example
Yeah.
of the nurses, where you were little, maybe you saw only women and nurses, and you thought nurses can
Yeah.
only be women, and maybe they actually, indeed, they are male nurses. Like
Yeah.
that's a mindset that came from a, it's not very, yeah, it's a mindset that came from a limited experience. Then
Yeah.
we talk about the generational passed down mindset, where it might had come from your grandparent, that came from you, and then your grandparent gave to your parent, and then your grandparent gave you to your parent, and then your parent gave it to you. And
Yeah.
the danger with those mindsets is those came from a different generation, a different world. Like it could be a
Yeah.
300 years old mindset even, and you need to ask yourself, is up to date? Does it actually serves me today in this world?
Yeah.
um, then the third way to remove a mindset is to ask yourself, um, does it fit my context? And you gave
Yeah.
the example that, does being angry, it does really benefit me right now? That's actually a
Yeah.
great way also to mention in context. Like in context, does it really help me? Um, but also it's like having the mindset of being very paranoid, because I used to live in very dangerous neighborhood, on the um, very
Mhm.
dangerous country. Does that mindset is still useful in the country that I live today?
Yeah.
That's another thing to realize.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's for remove a mindset. Then for
Yeah.
starting a mindset, we mentioned you mentioned, if you want to start something, it's 21 days, and you want to maintain the streak.
Yeah.
And finally, let's do start it. Like you cannot. I mean, if you are saying, now on I'm gonna be more empathetic, or now I'm gonna have the mindset of assuming the best of people, you need to
Mhm.
keep that tasks. You create that like daily tasks that fit that
Yeah.
mindset, and
Yeah.
you need to maintain the streak of doing those tasks. If you
Yeah.
task to being more caring, like the mindset of being more caring is saying a compliment every day, you need to maintain
Mhm.
the streak where you remember to say a compliment at least every 48 hours. Like if you go beyond
Yeah.
4 hours, everything is lost. You need to start from day 0 till you get to day
Yeah.
21. And finally, to maintain a mindset, actually, that was to start. To maintain, I think, is maybe it could be that same thing, but
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
Like if you do it, I don't know. What would you say? Do you think at that point it's very programming to yourself?
Yeah, well, tracking your habits. That's what I mean. Sorry.
Mm,
Um,
keep the track,
by
right?
day. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, that's what I mean.
All
Yeah.
right. And if, for instance, you work so hard to create this mindset or this habit, like maybe
Hmm.
you're someone that decided that didn't wanted to yule anymore, like you were yuling a lot, that could, and then you decided that you don't want to yule anymore. You were able to quit yuling. If someone offers you, hey, you want to yule? It's like, remember the process you went through
Yeah.
to develop that, you know, independency from that habit or independent.
Yeah.
And like that habit, mindsets are the same.
Hmm.
Mindsets are
Yeah.
basically the habit of thinking. So if you work so hard to thinking the best of people, don't let the
Hmm.
experience of something that happened with one person ruin that mindset. Like, still expect the best of people. It's just a real
Yeah.
that person didn't fit with the standards, and that's it. It was a special humanizing the situation, and everything we talk about. But that's a
Yeah.
standalone case. Like, it doesn't affect the mindset you work so hard to build. So yeah, uh,
That's
for
true.
me, that's a list about mindsets. What mindset is, how it's important, and how to remove, start, and maintain them. So, is there
Yeah.
anything else you would like to add?
No, I think we've covered it all. I
All
think,
right.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Bo, thank you so much, because now I have my cool list of uh,
Okay.
everything about I need to know about mindsets. I think
Hmm.
people is gonna love it. So thank you so much for being here today, and for
Yeah.
those people that join, I want to thank you, and I want to make sure to let you know, um, mindsets are very powerful. That's what you need to remember. But you do have control on them. You do can change them, even if they came from generations and generations within your family. You can
Yeah.
change your mindsets. So yeah, keep making 2020 the best years of your life by now changing the mindsets you don't like, keeping the ones you like, and starting the ones you want to have for you to have the best year of your life. And as always, keep side flowing.